Well, this is a bit of an unusual video, certainly for my channel. About 6 weeks or so ago, I had an email from my good friend Rob, who's got the YouTube channel Enginediyshop, and he'd been contacted by Enginediyshop and asked to do a review of one of their models. Now, he's done reviews of several of their model steam engines on his channel before, but this was not really in his wheelhouse. So he sent me an email to say, look, I've been asked to do this. He said, I've told them to get in touch with you because this is not really, I'm not really set up for this kind of product, and it is, you know, it's much more in your wheelhouse than it is mine. So he sent me a link to the product that they wanted reviewed, and I said to Rob, well, yeah, thanks very much for the referral. I really appreciate you giving them my name, but I was extremely skeptical that they'd even get in touch with me. You know, now, Rob's got a quite successful channel. He's got over 40,000 subscribers. His videos generally get between 2,000 and 4,000 views. You know, so you know, a lot of people watch his videos. My channel's got about 2,800 subscribers, and I'm lucky if I get 300 views in one of my videos. So from a commercial standpoint, it's not particularly good advertising. Anyway, lo and behold, Enginediyshop got in touch with me and said, would I like to review this product? And I said, yeah, absolutely, as long as I'm allowed to give my honest opinion. I'm not gonna, you know, give any BS over it. So, and they said, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Just include our name in the title of the video, and that's really all they wanted me to do, and then do a review on it. Anyway, the weeks passed, and you know, say 6 weeks passed, and nothing much happened. I had a couple of emails from them saying that they were going to send it, but I never received anything. And then lo and behold, today, which is I think the 22nd of November 2023, this arrived in the post. So what is it? Well, according to the website, it is a 187 HO scale live steam train with twin cylinder single acting oscillating steam engine model. And the other reason why I was skeptical they'd actually send me this is, if you want to buy this thing, at the moment on their website, it's $759.99. This is not a cheap model. Well, anyway, it's here, and they've sent me some track, which is great because all my steam locomotives are SM32, which is obviously, you know, considerably larger than this. This is HO scale. So they've actually sent me some, I think there's 12 small curves, so obviously I can set up a big loop of track to run this thing on. So yeah, totally gobsmacked and amazed, to be honest with you. So it's come in a really nice wooden box. As you can see, I haven't even unpacked it yet, so we'll get it out of the box and have a look at it. Oh my god, just look at this thing. It's amazing. It's absolutely tiny. Look, there's my hand. Here's my standard yardstick for all measurement that you know. There's a Red Bull can, your standard Red Bull can. So the train itself, the little locomotive, is probably about the same length as a Red Bull can is tall. And you've got obviously this here is the fuel, I would assume, goes in the tender, goes through to this must be the burner, and that's your boiler there. But it's absolutely tiny, and there's a load of stuff in the end. We'll have a look at that, but we'll get this out and put it on the lid so you can have a proper look at it. Oh no, this thing is it's absolutely gorgeous. It's just, I've never seen a live steam engine that's this small before. So I know they exist, but I've never seen one. So this is just quite incredible, really. It looks like the cylinders, the oscillating cylinders, are held on with a little spring clip. I'll zoom in on that area. Yeah, we got like a little spring clip there holding the oscillating cylinder onto the port face. Now, I've seen stationary engines that use that same principle, and it actually works really, really well. But yeah, this thing is, well, I mean, just look at it. It's amazing. Yeah. It literally is like a miniaturized version of one of my SM32 locos. So I'm assuming that's going to be the safety valve, and this is the steam dome here. I'm assuming that, I haven't read any of the instructions, I think, but I'm assuming the water goes in through, you unscrew the safety valve and you put the water in that way. I'll have to read through it, you know. And as I said, let's have a look at the tender. Yeah, so the fuel is in for the burner is here. This is the burner here. little tiny burner, and the tender's actually got these little tiny bogies on it. It's just amazing. These bogie wheels are just incredible bit of kit. I mean, even before attempting to use it, it's just an amazing thing to look at. A quick look at the underside. There's not really much to see under there, but yeah, it's the detail is quite amazing. It looks to be really well made. Yeah, it really does. Well, you get quite an impressive array of accessories with this. Now, I did cheat a little bit and I had a look at Engine DIY's own video on this, so I could try and work out what all of this stuff does. So yeah, so basically you've got a syringe with some steam oil in, and I believe there are some needles in this packet here, which go on the end of this, which allow you to inject steam into the steam dome, which is also the lubricator. You've got a small instrument screwdriver here, Phillips head, not quite sure what that's for, maybe just tightening stuff up. You've got some little plastic tubes and some neoprene tube in this bag, and some more neoprene tube in this bag with a brass end on it and a little copper clip. Again, I'm not sure what that's for. There's actually a tiny piezoelectric igniter in here to light the gas, which is fantastic. And you've got the syringe. This syringe is for filling the boiler with water, and this is for just lubrication oil to lubricate the various moving parts. So yeah, it's pretty well equipped. Okay, so it would appear that it runs on butane, and there is actually a standard cigarette lighter type refill plug in the back end of this tank. So yeah, so it runs off of butane. Yeah, absolutely lovely looking little thing. So yeah, we'll have to read the instructions and see if we can get it going. Okay, so I'm going to go through the setup procedure, putting the fluids in and the gas, so forth on this engine, because the instructions are not particularly clear. They're a direct translation from Chinese, I think, and they're just not clear. So how I worked out what to do, I went and watched Enginediyshop's own video on this little locomotive, and I actually slowed it down to a quarter of the speed that it runs at in order to see exactly what they're doing, and I think I've got it sussed now. The reason they give you this a little Phillips instrument screwdriver is because there are screws in the top of the lubricator and the filler valve for the water, so you have to take those out to put the water in there and the oil in there. Also, it's not clear about the whole little gas bottle here, but I managed to work that out after I slowed their video down, and as you can see, there is already some butane in here, but I wanted to make sure that I was right about this, and I am. I understand how this all works now, so I'll take you through the start up, oiling up procedure and putting the fluids in. So they say use low viscosity oil to oil up the pivot points on the motion, and they use this little bottle with some oil in. Well, I'm not going to do that because I've already got one of these little oiler pens, which is great for that kind of thing. This one's just got 3-in-1 oil in it, which will do for the motion without any problem. So we're just going to put a few drops of this on the pivot points of the motion. And the same on the other side. Now, in order to get water into it, this is where the little screwdriver comes in. You have to undo this little tiny Phillips head screw, which is in the top there. Using their syringe, they say use 14 millilitres. And the syringe holds 10. So that's the 10, and then, oops, we'll put 4 more in. And that's the water done. And we'll put the screw back in. So that's the water done. Now the oil's the same principle, you just undo this screw. I thought the syringe that they gave you actually had oil in it. It didn't. It's just that the plunger is blue. So there you go. So you've got to put some oil in it. There's a little tiny, you only have to put a little tiny drop of oil in here. There we go. Doesn't take much. Its steam dome is quite small. And then just pop the screw back on again. There we go. So that's the oil and the water, and the lubrication is done. Now the gas is a tricky bit. I didn't really understand what they were doing. I mean, yes, it's easy enough to fill it. You pull the gas bottle off like that. You tip it up. And you put your lighter gas fluid in the end here. Very simple. There you go. But it's the next bit that is not obvious. So, like that, there isn't any gas coming out. What you have to do is, you have to press this bit, this plastic piece at the bottom here. You press that in. And then lock the top slide over that way. Now there is gas coming out of it. And if I use the igniter, we should be able to ignite it. And it's not going to. All right, we'll leave it a minute and then we'll try again. I did have trouble with this before, and I ended up basically using the my gas torch to do it. Ah, there we go. Did it that time. Amazing. Okay, now I could not get this little engine to run initially. It just didn't produce enough pressure, enough steam from the boiler, and it just would not run. So I got in touch with the company and explained this, and they said I sent them a little video of it, and they said that the flame was too small and needed to be bigger, but I couldn't find any way of adjusting the flame on this thing. So I assumed that maybe the jet or the little gas tank was faulty, although I did blow the jet out with compressed air. However, they sent me a new tank and a couple of new jets. But before I even got around to fitting that, I tried something else. As you can see, the gas tank has a name on it. So I'll zoom in on that. And so does the new one they sent me. So I thought, well, I'll look this one up. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. And it turns out that that is a manufacturer of cigarette lighters, Chinese ones. And this little tank is part of the cigarette lighter. That's what they've obviously used to provide the gas for the locomotive. So I did some Googling on this, and I found a YouTube video where a chap was basically reviewing the cigarette lighters that had these on. And it was brilliant because he showed you how to adjust the flame size that came out of the cigarette lighter. And that was the crucial bit of information that I was missing. Now, this is the end-on view. As you can see, that's where you put the gas in. That's the valve for inserting the gas. But I don't know whether you can see it, but there is a screwdriver type slot in the surrounding ring on the outside of the valve there. And that is how you adjust the flame size. Now, unfortunately, that information was not given to me by the company, and it's not in instructions, and it's not on their video. So that was the crucial bit of information that I was missing. So now I can adjust the flame size. I don't know whether you can see that, but that's quite small. But if I turn this anti-clockwise, we can get a much bigger flame out of it. So yeah, basically now I think we can get this thing running at a decent speed. I'll just tweak that back a bit, turn it off. There we go. Right, so now we can try again. Well, the flame's on. I've got it coupled up to some little carriages, HO scale carriages I bought off of eBay to give it something to pull, make it a little bit more interesting. So fingers crossed, hopefully we'll get something out of it. Try again. It works! Yay! I think we got one of the bogies is off on the truck because it's not quite running smooth, but it's running. That's the important thing. Now there's no regulator on this, so obviously the only control is the flame, but I think I might have got it just about right, which is good. Yay, we're off! The flame length setting on this is absolutely crucial. What? Yeah, you see, I could turn the flame up, give us a bit more puff, but the initial burst of speed would be so much that it would just come off the track. Trust me, this has happened many times when I've been trying to do this. So well, it runs, you know, I mean, it's not perfect, but it does go. Well, I think that about wraps it up for the little engine DIY HO scale live steam locomotive. My thoughts, well, it's an incredibly frustrating engine to get to run properly. What you didn't see in the video are the 40 odd other attempts I had at trying to get this to run. If you have the flame too low, then it barely chugs around the track and it will run for maybe one circuit and then stop. If you have the flame too high, then it takes off like a rocket and immediately derails, shoots off the track. So it's a very fine line getting that flame just where it needs to be. Now, obviously, I did manage it at least once because it chugged around for, I don't know, 15 or so circuits before I stopped it, and that was the best I ever got out of it. But you saw a couple of the other shorter runs where it just basically ran out of puff because there was the flames simply not big enough. So yeah, it's a lovely thing, it's very well made, but incredibly frustrating to try and use it. It really is. And the fact that the instructions lack the necessary information that you need to adjust the gas flame, that's really difficult. Now obviously they could improve on that simply by improving the instructions, but without a proper regulator it's very difficult to get this locomotive to run at a sensible rate. So I couldn't, in all honesty, recommend this. The form it is in at the moment, it is just way too frustrating to use. Yeah, I'm glad I had the opportunity to have a play with it, but it's not really in a state where it is in any way, shape or form easy to use. So as always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks very much for watching, and thanks to Engine DIY for sending me this thing in the first place. Now, full disclosure here, they haven't paid me to do this review, but then they did send me the locomotive for free, so there you go. Okay, well, that's about it. As I said, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers!